NFL analyst. Hey, Ross, Tiki and Tierney, how are you there, buddy? What's happening?
I'm doing great. What's up, fellas?
All good. All good. Happy holidays, and get ready for a good New Year, we would imagine. Mike Tomlin. Boy, that's pretty low where Terry Bradshaw went, removing the venom, but sticking to the premise. Is he entirely off base with his assessment of what Tomlin is as a head coach in the NFL?
You know, what's interesting about it is I think it really depends upon your perspective and what you want to see from a head coach. You know, there's other head coaches that are calling the offense or calling the defense or always have the headset on and appear to be more involved with the planning for each. Then there's guys like Mike Tomlin where it really is more about, game management and more about taking the temperature, if you will, of the team. I guess my end result would be who cares? Whatever the product is on the field, whatever the production is, I don't care what they're wearing on the sidelines. I don't care how involved they appear to be or not. I don't care who's calling the offense, who's calling the defense. As a head coach, you get credit based on wins and losses, period. I don't care how you go about doing it.
All right, let me follow up with this then, because we can all agree on that. We position a few coaches, and obviously Belichick is at the head of the list, as reasons why teams win, or a good, a good reason, or a good part of the reason why they win. If you had to say that, do the Steelers win because of Mike Tomlin, or is he just more along for the ride, which maybe is what Bradshaw was trying to say?
I think in part they win because of Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
You think about how he is with the media and the way he approaches the media. He's a pretty convincing guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that rubs off on his team in certain situations. Even when they're down or they struggle, it seems like they always step up and play well when they need to. Even just what they did in the fourth quarter on Sunday against the Ravens. And he's also had his hand more on the defensive side of the ball since they made the transition from LeBeau to Keith Butler than people realize. And they're playing a lot more zone now, a lot more soft coverages, which, by the way, makes sense. I mean, when you have an awesome offense defensively and you're pretty good in the front seven, just don't get beat deep. Just don't give up easy and cheap stuff, which has Tomlin's, fingerprints all over it as a guy that is a big believer in too deep zone and force people to complete stuff underneath. So I think he's a reason why they win. I don't know that he's as much of a reason why they win as perhaps some of the other coaches out there like a Belichick. But, Belichick's not calling the offense or the defense either.
No.
Patricia calls the defense and McDaniels calls the offense. So everybody, I see Peter King has Belichick for Coach of the Year, which I guess I understand. He wouldn't be mine, but I guess I understand it. But I don't see that much of a difference. Is Belichick talking to his headset more than Tomlin does? What do we need here?
I agree. I had this conversation with BT, Ross. I said if Tom Coughlin at his best had to put on the headset and pick up the play sheet and call the plays and effectively win a game, he couldn't have done it. A lot of head coaches don't do that. Their job is to delegate and find the right guys around them to do that. That actually makes a better head coach. A guy who can find the best assistants that can disseminate the message down to the players. We talk about coaches. Another guy, I don't know if he gets a lot of credit for this, Ross. How about Jason Garrett? We're talking about these Coach of the Year candidates. He's got to be one. Last year with Tony Romo out, they went 4-12. This year with a rookie, same situation, rookie quarterback. They won 11 games in a row and have the best record in the NFC.
I don't know that Garrett will ever get that level of credit for a couple reasons. I think number one, I think it hurts him that Jerry Jones is kind of
always the mouthpiece
of the franchise. Yeah. I just think Jerry Jones is so out in front, and he wants to be, and he has the right to be. He owns the team. That Garrett, at times, it seems like he's secondary. It seems like he's almost behind the scenes. He's another guy there. Does he even wear a headset when he's on the sideline? I mean, he's not a guy that got Linehan calling the offense, Marinelli's running the defense. But you're right. I don't care how talented Dak Prescott may be or Zeke Elliott, and the offensive line's awesome. I love watching those guys. But for them to be 13-2, and again, I look at it and say, well, let's give Marinelli a lot of credit for maybe assistant coach of the year for that defense being decent. Well, Jason Garrett's the guy that hired Marinelli and stuck with him and has given him the freedom to do what he wants on the defensive side of the ball. You look at any successful organization, it doesn't have to be sports, anything. The guys that are usually the best are the people that do the best job of hiring the right people and the best people and allow them to do their job. So I think Garrett's up there as well, guys, but to me, the coach of the year is Adam Gase. I do power rankings every Tuesday for my podcast, and I think maybe week 3, 4, and 5, the Dolphins were the worst team in the NFL. They were like 1-4. Their only win was against the Browns, which was a gift.
They should have lost. Yeah, that's
Ryan
right.
Tannehill, even after the game, there's no way we should have won that game, but I'll take it. And now, going into Week 17, they've already clinched a playoff berth, and they're still rolling with their backup quarterback. And I see Coach of the Year, polls out there. Gase is in the top 5. I mean, he's easily my number 1. I've never even met the guy, but he's easily my number 1. You go from last in my power rankings to making the playoffs, that's impressive.
What about McAdoo?
McAdoo, I think, has done a nice job. He'll just never get the credit because he's the offensive guy and it's the defense that drives that ship.
That's true.
And maybe he should get more credit because he's the head guy and it's all under him.
Yeah, it's the same premise,
he's
right?
Calling the plays on offense, and I don't know why they needed a walkie-talkie to yell out to Eli, "Hey, throw a slant to Odell and try to tell him to score." I mean, it seems like that's what their offense is.
It is.
Their offense is not very good. So I don't even, for me, McAdoo, and right or wrong, he's not even in my top 5.
No, me neither.
I'd rather give it to Spagnuolo for assistant coach of the year, but even I wouldn't give it to. I'd give it to John Mara for being, Daddy Big Spender, Daddy Warbucks of the offseason, which, by the way, is awesome, Tiki, for NFL players.
Yeah,
Every year in March, we hear everybody say, free agency never works, spending sprees, those teams never work. How great is it that the team that went out there and just spent like crazy, all the guys they brought in are awesome, and as a result, they got the best defense in the league.
Still a little fool's gold.
Yeah, it is.
Know that.
No, it's fool's gold. It's fool's goals for the offense for exactly what Ross was talking about because their offense they haven't scored 20 points in 4 weeks. Think about that. This is one of the best receiving corps in the National Football League. Good quarterback who's won 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and they can't score 20 points. And the only reason they're winning is because of the defense. I said Landon Collins might be the Defensive Player of the Year. You agree?
He should definitely be in the conversation. And by the way, that's the other thing. As good as those free agents have been, it helps when you have a guy like that playing as well as Landon Collins is. Yeah, he's absolutely in the conversation. I think Vic Beasley has to be in the conversation.
Yep.
Leads the NFL in sacks. Khalil Mack that's my dude. I love that guy. So I think all those guys are absolutely in the conversation. I don't know that there's a clear-cut winner this year like there typically is with a J.J. Watt or a Kuechly.
No, I don't feel it at all with defense this year. It's odd. There's no one that's really standing out or popping off the sheet, stat-wise or just Sunday in, Sunday out-wise.
Ross Tucker with us here. Ross, I want to ask you this. The renaissance, the revival of 2 marquee teams. Now, Raiders have been dead for over a decade, so it's certainly more pronounced than Dallas, who was really good a couple of years ago. But restoring luster both in Oakland and Dallas, and they both have young quarterbacks, both have terrific O-lines, although Oakland's far less organic than Dallas's offensive line, as you well know. I want to ask you this. If you had to buy if the Raiders and the Cowboys were a stock, and you're looking at the next, not this year, but the next 3 to 5 years, which one are you going to purchase? Long-term faith, who do you have more faith in that they can sustain this?
It's a great question. I would say because of the uncertainty in Oakland at the top of the organization, ownership, where they're going to be, all those things, that would make me lean Dallas. But I have more faith, I guess, in some of the core guys on the defensive side of the ball in Oakland, like Khalil Mack. I don't know that Dallas really has that. As much as I love Sean Lee, it just feels like he gets hurt all the time.
Yeah, plus he's 30.
I would say they're very close. Yeah. I might lean Oakland, though, because of having the difference maker on defense that the Dallas Cowboys really don't have. They can build around Khalil Mack. They brought in Reggie Nelson, Irvin. They can, and plus, I'll give you one more thing. The Raiders still have oodles of cap space that the Cowboys never have. So the Raiders can keep getting better, whereas the Cowboys are never really in that position to supplement their roster in that way.
Ross, tell me about ballcannon.com. This looks kind of interesting for kids.
You know, it's funny, Tiki. It's the guy that made it is from my hometown. You know, I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania, man. Nobody invents anything from Reading, Pennsylvania. And he told me about it. Absolutely awesome. It's like Tiki. It's like a mini jugs machine. It's
Okay.
like a personal jugs machine. I bought one for my nephew. He's 7. Every kid on the block came over. So that's the best way to look at it, is a personal jugs machine. So even if the kid he just want to play and catch the football, or if he's a serious football player, it launches punts, line drives, whatever you want. My advice, in all sincerity, anybody listening, just check out the website. Check out the video at ballcannon.com. It's one of those things you have to see for yourself.
I'm going to check it out right now. My little guy's going to be 2 next month, and you can never start working on those hands too early. Ballcannon.com?
Yeah, it's awesome. And Brandon, if you ever want one, connect with me. I can get you a good price. I know a guy.
Hey, Ross, does this shoot regular football? I'm looking at it right now. Does this shoot, because my boys are playing football, obviously. Does this shoot regular footballs or Nerf footballs or both?
So right now it's only Nerf.
Oh, wow.
And they're working on it for it to shoot leather footballs as well. So the market right now is ages like 4 to 14.
Gotcha.
You know, most high school kids are going to want to catch a leather football, but Pop Warner, flag football. I mean, the thing is, I can't believe I'm so glad the guy invented it. I'm really glad he got me involved, because it's going to do well. I mean, it already is doing well.
Yeah, you can tell.
Everything. It's awesome.
I'm looking at the pictures. This must be self-taken, because the guy's holding beers in the parking lot.
I got news for you, Ross. Daddy wants to catch Nerf balls at this stage. I don't know if I want to get those hard, when it's cold out. I'll catch the Nerf at age 43. Throw the Nerfs my way. I can still handle that, man.
No, I'm with you. And honestly, you're really working on hand-eye coordination.
Yes.
I know I'd rather be, I don't know how old